Hello and welcome to another episode of Chalk Talk on the Brandon Ramsey College Basketball Show YouTube channel. We're going to be diving in about 36 hours or so before Kentucky's scrimmage against number one Purdue. We're going to be diving into how the Wildcats should, in my opinion, guard Braden Smith. Or if I was a coach throughout college basketball this season, how I would guard the preseason National Player of the Year, a first team All American from last season, and one of the best point guards that I've evaluated in a really long time. Braden Smith is a true maestro with the ball in his hands. He's really, really fun to watch. He's fun to watch on film, but certainly would not be fun to scout if what I had to say actually mattered. But we're going to give it our best shot today, at least on my game plan, on how I would guard Braden Smith going into Kentucky's exhibition game against the number one Boilermakers on Friday night at 6 o'clock in Rupp Arena. I will be there, boots on the ground for that game. As you can see, I'm wearing my Indy gear, heading to the Pacers game tonight, and then down to Lexington tomorrow. But let's dive on in to the film room here and take a look at a few clips that I cut up from last season on Braden Smith, and we'll talk about how I would guard him. This is from the Sweet 16 in Indianapolis when Purdue lost to Houston. Houston really, really is aggressive, hard hedging the ball screens, and that had some success early on against the Boilermakers. You can see they literally make Fletcher Lawyer fall down with the ball in his hands. Here they get Braden Smith moving away. He has no play to make, has to get it to the elbow, and misses a jumper. But, and this is where Purdue, Matt Painter, PJ Thompson, their offensive coordinator on the bench, all uh, in a cohesive group with Braden Smith. This is where they are the best of the best in all of college basketball, is how they adjust in game to whatever is thrown at them. So we saw Houston get out there and really be aggressive, hard hedging the ball screens 30 plus feet from the basket. So now on this next play, Braden Smith just gets rid of it a little bit quicker with the pocket pass. He knows that hard hedge is coming. So boom, before he can really get sent this way or before they can rotate on Trey Kaufman-Renn, he just throws a little pocket pass and then lets Kaufman-Renn play make from the middle. He kicks it out to CJ Cox, who's a sophomore now this year, a nearly 40% three-point shooter last year. Lets Kaufman-Renn play make from that top of the key spot, kind of like how you'll see Kentucky use Mo Diabate some this year. They also started flipping a lot of the ball screens, setting them twice, where Braden Smith comes off to his left here, and then Trey Kaufman-Renn flips it around, sends it to his right. It's a little bit harder to really get out there and hard hedge. What Braden Smith is reading is these tag guys now on the weak side. Are they collapsing in on Trey Kaufman-Renn, or are they staying home with the shooters? This time they collapsed all the way into Trey Kaufman-Renn, but didn't really have a clean pass here because of the length on the ball. So they just rotate it. Fletcher Lawyer knows to get it quickly over here to CJ Cox. It gets delivered, attacks the closeout to an elbow jump shot. They also started down screening into some of the ball screens once again to make it harder to get out there and hard hedge Braden Smith at the point of attack. They flip this one also. And then once again, as Trey Kaufman-Renn rolls in here, Braden Smith, you can see his eyes. He's really only worried about what this Houston defender is doing, because he knows he can make any pass on the court. He can end up attacking this guy if he needs to. He can swing it over here and it'll get swung around. He can flip it to Trey Kaufman-Renn, or he can throw the skip pass all the way to Fletcher Lawyer. He is just reading what this defender is doing. This time, the defender stays in. Look at how he elevates to deliver this pass right on target to an elite shooter in Fletcher Lawyer. One dribble pull up, knocks it in. This is a called secondary action where they throw it ahead. Fletcher Lawyer attacks the middle of the floor a little bit, and they get to a high cross screen for Braden Smith. Again, harder to hard hedge this. That's much more of a flat hedge coming off of a handoff and going downhill. Just incredibly smart in-game coaching from Coach Painter. Hits TKR on the roll, but the defender's right there. Just isolation, though. Gets it up there to score. Gets it back. That's essentially a flipped ball screen there. Hits him with the little pocket pass. We get over here to the shooter spaced away. No shot. but we get it back. Boom, right into another handoff or ball screen. Comes off this time, and just look at the way that Braden Smith is toying with Houston, who was far and away the best defense in the country last year. He just drags it out because like he wants to get to a position where he can read all of this in there. He's not even really thinking about beating that around the edge. He's purposefully hanging out here with two guys on him because he knows that he can then let these guys play 4-on-3. So he's hanging out here, hanging out here. The defenders just ever so slightly. This guy comes back out to Miles Colvin. He uses the eye fake. The Houston defender commits just a hair that way. So the pass comes to TKR at the front of the rim for an easy layup. This is what we can't have happen if you're Kentucky tonight, or really anybody. We'll talk about how I would guard the ball screens in just a second. But when you're guarding Braden Smith overall, he loves to keep his dribble alive and kind of Gretzky it around the rim. He's going to leave the scoring area, come back in. He's going to leave it again, come back in, just waiting for all the eyes and all the attention to get on him. And that's what you see here from Michigan. Look at the way these guys are turning around and collapsing. That's no good. Get out here on Fletcher Lawyer. Get out here on Cameron Heide or whoever that might be. There's no reason to turn and watch Braden Smith just Gretzky it or Steve Nash dribble it around in the paint. Tighten up to your guy as he dribbles it. You have to make him a scorer and not so much of a playmaker. Sprays him on that one. And then the kid they got from Israel, Mayer, off the bench. This guy is going to be special. He has a lot of the same playmaking ability as Braden Smith, just something to show. He pulls the hedge with him out here wide. Once again, he's reading these weak side tag guys. Just a little bit of a commit back there. Knows this guy's on his backside and is able to throw it to the roll man for a layup. So Mayer's going to do the same things that Braden Smith does when he comes off of the bench for the Boilermakers. But to go back in here, I think, and I'm a big proponent of switching the ball screens. You're going to hear me, you'd hear me talk about that in a lot of different instances. But I think that your best case scenario against Braden Smith is to make him an individual ball handler, make him a scorer and not a facilitator. Kentucky had some success doing this against certain guys last year, namely Zakai Ziegler in the regular season, where you really want to see how many shots he will take and try to limit those assists. I think that if you just come out here and switch these ball screens so that you don't have to help anywhere and kind of get him to back it off and reset, I think that's where you can start having some success as a defense. Because you think about all these positions here where now you're throwing two guys at such an elite passer, you're kind of giving him the decision, and he's going to make the right decision every single time. I don't want to let him read a tag guy. I don't want to have a tag guy, because if you just switched, you could switch it, and then you could have switched it right back here. It also takes away a lot of their flipping the ball screens. So they're only going to want to set it once off of the switch. But if we still had a guy on a guy, a guy on a guy, a guy on a guy after the switch, you wouldn't put yourself in rotation. And Braden Smith is going to eat you alive in rotation. And the easiest way to combat that is obviously by switching the ball screens. Once again, here, just switch that. Stay out there, stick right here where you're hugging Trey Kaufman-Renn, so that you're not in a position where you have to help in this far off of a 44.4% three-point shooter. You can stay a little bit closer to home so that your closeout doesn't look like this, where you have to fly by him. Just show one more clip here. What it would look like if you switched it. Boom. Switch that one. Now you're able to stay with Trey Kaufman-Renn on that roll, and you don't have to worry about stepping in here and playing him one-on-one. I guess we're going to show one more. That's not the clip I wanted. This is the one I really wanted. Boom. Stay between Braden Smith and the basketball right here. Use your length to contest him vertically and see if he'll take that jump shot. Stay right on the hip of Trey Kaufman-Renn so that you don't have to help in like this off of what are going to be shooters posted up in the corner. Now, you live to fight another day there if you're Houston, because you're elite defensively and you play with great effort. But now we're into another one. Again, I don't want to have my defense 40 feet from the basket against Braden Smith because he's just going to eat us up on the back end of that. If you switch this one, then you're staying home here, which means you're staying home there, which means there's nothing for this guy to really worry about. He can probably be more here, or even if he is all the way in here, he knows there's only one direction in which he's going because now he's at least having to act like he's worried about Trey Kaufman, right? Even though he's leaving to come out here to Heidi. I just think if you switch the ball screens, you negate all of the other decisions you have to make. And Braden Smith is going to make better decisions with the ball in his hands than you can ever make on the defensive end of the floor. It keeps you out of rotation. It keeps you out of having to make decisions. Honestly, it keeps him from being able to make decisions and turns it into a much more of a one-on-one game. And even if he beats your 5-man or your 4-man incessantly with layups and pull-ups and all the different things because he's an elite player and he's going to do those things, the dude's made it over 83s last year too, so he's going to do some of that. But I think that the more you can make it a one-on-one isolation game for Braden Smith, the better off you are as a defense. Now, there's obviously no good way to guard a player as good as Braden Smith, but that's my idea, my best bet for how I would attack it if I'm Kentucky or probably just about any other team in college basketball this season. Really anxious to see Braden Smith play in person on Friday night at Rupp Arena. This has been the Brandon Ramsey College Basketball Show Chalk Talk. Please make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Leave this video a like if you have enjoyed it, and go follow me on TikTok and Twitter at BRamseyKSR. Thank you.